success of spring ball. Just how have you felt about what you've seen from this group compared to what you hope to see in the spring?
Overall, we've had really great practices, and I think we got accomplished what we wanted to get accomplished in terms of installment, and really getting a good look at the young guys who could really contribute or help out on the roster, the battles that we'll have for guys that we lost. We did lose a lot of key people, and a lot of those questions are starting to be answered. But it was a real productive spring. It was real physical. I'm real proud of our guys' effort.
You mentioned graduating that 25 group. What were the biggest question marks for y'all from a position?
Quarterback and obviously kicker. Losing Drew and Brennan were two big losses for us. Luckily, we had three back on the offensive line. We had a good bit of our receiving core back and both running backs back. Same thing kind of defensively. We lost a few key guys in the secondary, but again, we have a couple guys back in the secondary. You have the linebacking core back. Lost a couple key guys on the D-line, but we had a couple of key guys back. So it's just, looking at who's going to fill those shoes coming up and getting a good look at guys and getting a good look at young guys in terms of if they're ready to take the next step.
The quarterback, new guys, Pearson, was it?
Yes, Brady.
What do you, as you coach him in to fill big shoes left by Brennan, what do you look for from him at this stage of it all? And what have been kind of
at this stage, his progression, he's gotten so much better from where he was last year. It's just been a progression during spring, but he's done an outstanding job for us. He brings a little bit different to the table, because he may be one of the fastest guys on the team, so he has a dynamic aspect to him. So he's had a good spring, and we're real pleased at where he's at this point.
This is a place that I think the standard is always, there's no year where you expect, okay, this is going to be a down year. You expect to kind of continue.
We expect to compete at a high level every game.
What is the process like of getting young guys to recognize that? I'm sure it's not something that you have to do in the spring. It's more of them watching kind of the guys before them. But what does the process look like of acclimating young kids to whatever the standard is?
Well, we kind of started in the spring, even before spring, and meeting and so forth. For us, building culture is everything. We don't win too many pregame warm-ups, so the team always comes first, and sometimes you got to make sacrifices in order to make the team better. And getting young guys to understand that and buy in that certainly has always fed our program.
I know, a couple of rising seniors defensively were names that I knew in Aiden and Dylan. You've got a couple of young DBs back there too that look like they're going to have big roles here as sophomores. Tell me a little bit about RJ and Christian and kind of what you feel like enables them to possibly play a big role early on in their careers.
We could see last year JV, the freshman JV year's development, and as they moved up the freshman to JV into those roles and starting to play at a higher level, we saw they had some ability and they would be competing for starting jobs. They both have had an outstanding spring. There'll be a learning curve there, but we feel good about the athleticism that they bring. And they're locked into what we're doing. So real happy with where they're at this point.